Welcome to my view of the stock market. Today is Tuesday, June 30th, and we have concluded the second quarter of 2026. April, May was fantastic, and you can see here on this monthly chart of the Nasdaq, it was down 2.81%, 758 points, but April was up 15.2%. May was up 8.3%. So, June was kind of a rough month here. But overall, this is the best quarter since the COVID bear market here, where in April was up 15.5%, May was up 6.75%, and then June, which was up 6%. So that was a fantastic quarter, as we all remember. Um, anyway, the Nasdaq, I'm kind of glad June's over. We can hit July, hit the ground running here. On the daily chart, we can see that all is right with the world now. This is the Nasdaq undercut the 50, now has reclaimed all of its moving averages. This was the leading index today and this week, as it's been a super strong move here, undercutting the 50 and rallying back above. So we're going on green light. Manana, 1.4% above the 50 and 0.5% above this blue line, which is the 21. So our uptrend is still intact. We took a couple punches to the gut, one to the face, the 1, 2, 23 skidoo, whatever. We survived. We might maybe had a standing 8 count or something, but and now we're back in the fight here and ready to, I think, continue this rally higher. Thank goodness June is over. There was some shenanigans at the end of the quarter, the rebalancing, and I'll get to some of that in a minute. But it's a real thing. Anyway, I'm going to move on to stocks because I do stocks and not indexes. But we know when the index is up like that, stuff like Tesla going to be strong. Um, hmm, After hours, not so much, but during the session, NVIDIA, another one that moves the needle because of its size, nearly a 5 trillion market cap. It pulled back to its 200 and found support, now bouncing very nicely. And I'm not going to get into the other ones. You know the ones. Google just went into the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and so far so good. Both days, it was up 3.25% yesterday, more than 1% today. So the Dow has been very, very good to Alphabet or Google or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so we had the news over the weekend that SK Hynix and Samsung are going to spend a gazillion dollars on CapEx spending the next 5 years. Korea's all in, right? So in order to, memory's fine, all the memory stocks and all that, but they need these companies need equipment. I'm going to get to those equipment stocks in a minute, but I wanted to talk about Max Linear because I screwed up this one and I should have had it on my red list, but I've been looking at the daily, and saying, wow, that thing got really extended very quickly here on Monday. It was a 12% move. And you know what? That's just it was breaking out of a high tide flag and up 18% today. So I missed an 18% move because I wasn't looking at the weekly charts. And you could see this move here from, what was it, $20, $18 up to 100 and something. So that's a five-fold move at least. And so it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 weeks of consolidation here, forming this flag pattern. That's like 2 months. And then yesterday broke out. Now it's up 32%. And if you're asking me, where do I think it's going from here? Well, just look what it did last time. Do I think it's going to be a five bagger? No. But I think, easily, I'm not going to say buy it here, but you know what? Yeah, I think it's going higher. And if it doesn't want to pull back, leading stocks, winning stocks are going to be, difficult to buy. And gosh darn it, I missed this one on the high tide flag and I've been watching it. Yeah, anyway, my bad on that one. Yeah, that's why, you got to refer to the weekly charts, Marty, you idiot. Yeah, nice move. I didn't buy it, no. I bought some other ones that I like, but I screwed that one up. Sorry, folks. One that I did get right is one of these equipment stocks. And like I said, the equipment, you know, all these companies, all these semiconductor and memory and chip companies are going to need equipment. And there's a lot of money being thrown at this space, and the equipment space stands to benefit, right away. And you can see right now, this is the number one ranked group. I think I have about 17 stocks that I'm going to go over here. So, this is the winning group. So I'm going to spend some time on it. This is form factor. I put it on the ready list this week, even though it was below the 50 to start the day, Monday. But, yesterday had a 10% move. I think I put it on yesterday. Anyway, today it was up another 10%. I might not have. Gosh, sometimes my brain doesn't work properly. Um, anyway, trading type within a base. I like stuff in bases. I like stuff trading type. I don't want to buy stuff that's just going crazy, because you get a pullback and then you're underwater and then you have to take a small loss and then then you're chasing the stock anyway, if you stick with it. But this is form factor. It's real, standard trigger is 159.09. I don't know what I had. I had an early entry, trigger on this one. I forget what it was. You know what? I did put it on this just this morning. Anyway, 11% move. And if you could, look at the weekly chart and you can see from the daily, it really hasn't even broken out yet, but you can see the earnings line heading due north. So I still like this one, even though it's a little bit extended, it's still in a base. It's extended from its 5-day 9%. But you know what? If these things are going to run like we're seeing them run, then I just like buying stuff in a base. So there you go. Intel, I've been talking about this one for weeks, waiting for this one to form a base. Had this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-day handle, bounced off the 21 Monday. Nice bounce. This one was on our ready list, up nearly 3%, and then today rallied 6%. So yeah, it's making new highs. A high today was 142.35. So wouldn't be chasing it here, but I would be watching for a little inside day maybe tomorrow. And if you want to get in Intel, Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump sure do. Okay. The other one is AMD upgraded today. I like the upgrade. Just and you can see this, base here. I mean, pattern rec's not picking it up because it's probably only like 4 weeks. But made this low, it rallied up, got sold off down to the 21, finding support at the 21. Undercut it a little bit here, but essentially that blue line is your guideline, your guardrail. And now it's extended after the breakout today. 8% move for AMD. ASML, this is the stuff that I'm talking about here with the equipment stocks, up $106 or nearly 6%, making new highs. Look like I got the Matambo treatment at 2000. We saw a lot of stocks getting the Matambo treatment. Yeah, 1,099.96. So 2000 was the Matambo line. Same with MRVL. Nice undercut the 21 rally. Got the Matambo treatment there right at 300 there, 299.60. ALAB, another one. These guys are a big beneficiary from the CapEx spending. When I think of that, all the spending, all the money's going in, who's benefiting the most? I think of CRDO and I think of ALAB. On the semiconductor side, this is a fabulous. On the chip side, I like the memory stock still. Micron and SanDisk going higher. All right. Anyway, ALAB got the Matambo treatment today right there at 500, 499.48. No, sir. So there's three stocks in a row that got clipped or rejected at the large round numbers. Marvell, ALAB, and ASML. Another equipment name. So that rule really is it's not fake, it's not made up. It really is a thing. Those large round numbers that Livermore talked about. 700 was no problem for Applied Materials today. Nice bounce off the 5. here, once again, strong stock, very difficult to buy. Where do you buy it here? Pull back to the 5. Okay. It rallies up, then you're underwater here, right? Um, it pulls back to the 10, it rallies up, and you buy this little trip to the 5 again, and it rallies up. Yeah, you look good. Maybe an inside day, let that 5 catch up. But it looks like right now, the 5 is your guide with that occasional trip to the 10-day. But Applied Materials, super strong stock. This group, as I mentioned, the number one group, the number one ranked group, not the number one performing group. We know those are the memories. And this is another equipment stock. Onto it had that John 316 buy point. It kept doing the teeter-totter, fake rally up. And then, this is part of the June swoon where they were kind of selling stocks. But man, it came in Monday, red hot, 8.5%. Today, another 8% move. So John 316 is in its rear view mirror as it closed at 378 today. Man, these things are going to be tough to buy if if you're not in them already. KLAC, this is the one that did the 10 for 1 stock split, I do believe. Up another 8% today. And, once again, it broke out way back here. There's no base. You're just buying off a moving average. So know that, the momentum names are their momentum. They're strong. They're going higher, but there's no base there. So you're just buying stuff off moving averages. That's quite different than buying within a base. Like you saw in form factor, like it was trading tight within a base here around $150. And now it's been a two bagger. LRCX, another one of these equipment names. Yeah, up another 5.5%. These things just like shooting fish in a barrel. Very strong. UCTT. Somebody mentioned this one in the chat today, but another um, um, equipment stock making new highs. But once again, the base is way back here, down at $74 or whatever. And yeah, this thing's gone. It's been like a two bagger already since whatever back here or in April. Okay, so less than 3 months, you got yourself a two bagger. UCTT, ICHR, another stock that I like a lot. I didn't buy it. I thought I'd have trouble at 100, but where's the base? Way back here. This thing's been running. Yeah, it pulled back to the 50 once, twice, found support. Gosh, now it's 112. Mad at myself. Gosh, I was fooling around with this thing around $60. Oh well, missed out on a two bagger messing around with SanDisk and Micron, which have done okay. MKSI, this one was upgraded this morning, responded well, up 7%. Once again, the base is way back here, and this thing's just running, even though it had a little bit of this June swoon or the end of the quarter shenanigans selling here 3 out of 4 days. This thing came in Monday up 7%, and today's 7%. If it wants to go up 7% tomorrow, we'll take it. That would be a nice trend. I did mention Credo. Yeah, I think Credo's it's a hell of a stock. You could see 1, 2, 3, 4 days. I'm not going to call that a cup with a handle, but here from 213, it rallied up, then pulled back. What's the low here? 225. Yeah, almost back to that old high here. Undercut the 21 now, rallied back Monday and Tuesday. It's been strong this week. 3% today, 11%. Credo, very strong name. All right. What else do I have in this group? Oh, the star of the show. This has been the strongest equipment stock. And, in the number one group, the number one stock, the number one ranked group. The memories are still number one. This is COHU, not like the salmon, but this is a nice base way back here, trading tight within the base, and that's what you look for, right? The tight trading, and then boom, it's been running ever since April. What was this? $30 up to 73, so it's more than a two bagger here in the last quarter, and that's probably why he saw some selling right here in the last couple of weeks. All right. I think that's it for the semis. Did I cover them all? MRVL, Credo, ALAB. Yeah, I did. Okay. I'm going to move on to another group that I like, and a lot of people don't like it, but they're performing really, really well. This is a nice quarter for Liquidia. which I guess you could say it started the quarter here at what, $35. Now it's $80 today. It crossed above $80. But it broke out of this base here. Once again, the tight trading near the moving averages, and then bam, a nice 25% move not to be ignored. Even the high on that day, if you top tick the stock on that day, 53, it's now 79. So of course, it did pull back to that 53 level, but get to 21. I just thing is just super strong name. It's not fly by night developmental biotech. It's got revenues, sales, and earnings growth. So anyway, I like liquidity and it's showing strength. I'm just showing you some stocks that are showing strength within the. This is a developmental. Made a new high today, then pulled back. This is a flea on an elephant's butt. This is a 750 million market cap stock. Very small company, but I'm just kind of pointing out some strength here. ARGX is another one. Profitable biotech. This one's in a base. That's why I wrote this one down. And you can see this choppiness here in June. Let's face it, June was not easy. But if you go to the weekly chart here, you can see this consolidation, all the selling at the start of the base here. That's got to be like, yeah, and before the breakout. So we get to that breakout, follow through day, and here it goes from what was the low here, 661. Now it's 927, and it looks like it wants to break out. So maybe showing up on a ready list here pretty soon, but definitely a nice chart, definitely a strong stock. LGND, Ligand Pharmaceuticals. This one is just on a heater. Once again, very difficult to buy. Just showing you strength here. I'm not saying, go out and buy this tomorrow, but certainly a strong stock within the group. NBIX, I had this on the ready list last week. It performed pretty well for us. And you could say maybe that. Let's go to the weekly here. Yeah, last week it was up 6.5%. That's a good week. And you can see this cup with handle the 3 weeks tight area, then pull back 2 weeks. Up last week, like I said, 6%. Just kind of flat this week, but definitely near new highs. And I definitely still like that um, pattern here. All right. What else do I have here? Oh, INCY. This one is a profitable biotech. Looks pretty strong here. A nice cup with handle. Kind of a fake breakout here and a pullback. Getting ready to jump. ABVX. I just mentioned this one because this is the one that was allegedly having overtures from Lilly last year, and that stuff kind of quieted down. It traded from what, 148 to 69. Now today popped 38% on news. Colitis drug news. All right, what else do we have? Oh, GMAB was up on news today as well. Let me think. Ooh, I wrote it down somewhere. Anyway, it pulled back. It was up a lot and only had a 5% day, and that was from their cancer drug. Okay, what else do I have? SLDB. Solid. This is a solid stock. Solid Biosciences. Once again, very small company, um, a flea on a dog's butt, less than a billion market cap, $10 stock, but yeah, nice chart and just breaking out. That's why I showed that one. CLDX, fake breakout today. This is a developmental, biotech, so more speculative. Had the fake breakout, pulled back 35.79. Just I'd call it $36 if it pulls back there to the five. Then I might be interested in that one. NRIX is another one. Breaking out of a base. I like these bases. That's why, I'm not really looking at the fundamental so much as this because you can see the earnings line heading south. But this is a nice looking chart. And, these things have a way of breaking out somehow. You can see this high volume, highest volume ever the week of the June 12th. So let's go back to that daily chart. I must be right around here, huh? Yeah, the 8th. Yeah, yeah, it's a nice week. So yeah, trading tight now, moving up above the pivot point of 2250. And then TXG, I believe this is a Cathie Wood stock. Um, anyway, broke out and this one's gone. Another 3% move today. You saw the end of the month selling here, the June into the quarter, I should say. Anyway, that's it for the drug stocks. I'm going to stop there because I want to get to some of the other names. OUST, my friend keeps saying, buy this stock, buy this stock. It's a big winner. I never bought it. I don't really even know what they do. But you don't have to know what they do, if you're trading technicals. But yeah, certainly a strong move this week, up 50%. Did I buy it? No. There's a lot of opportunities. Yeah, I'm not going to kiss all the babies. I know that. I stick to my process. I stick to my style. I try not to lose much and try to buy properly and not chase. So, I missed it. Can't kiss all the babies. And like Mick Jagger says, they're like streetcars. They come and go, right? So we'll wait for the next streetcar. This next stock has been kicking ass. APH, AF, ha, kicking AF up 6%. I would say so. Is it a lot of people were asking about this stock when it was doing this and just forming this double bottom base because the rest of the market was rallying, right? What was this thing doing? Gosh, a lot of selling here. Very concerning. You can see the double bottom here at 118.24, the retest there at 118. And since then, it's just been straight up from the lows, right? Normally, you get a little, shake out here, a little bit of selling, but this one, no dice, man. It's going higher. It wants higher. I wouldn't be surprised if it, went up to 200 in a very short period of time and then get the Matamo treatment there, of course. So we'll put the magnets at 200. What else do I have here? Oh, CGNX. This is one that I had on my ready list this week. Another winner from Mr. C. Yeah. No, I don't brag. I just, yeah, this is, you got lucky, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's up a lot this week. I took it off. Yes. I put it on Monday, then took it off Tuesday because it was, up so much and it's up 9% this week, which is nothing compared to the semiconductor names. But there you see that 69 trigger. Yeah, the double bottom base. No handle here. They're not selling off here at the end of the month now. The last couple of sessions are just blasting higher. So kind of a tricky market here. And you just got to be flexible. Like Bruce Lee said, like water. You need to be like water. All right. The energy group. GEV, I did have this one on the ready list this week. And it's still, it's trading tight within a base. Last couple of sessions, very nice, 5%, 6%. So it's up a lot this week. Yeah, we'll take that. But you can see on the weekly, though, it hasn't even broken out yet. You can see this green line too. The earnings are just heading due north. And we're going to hear from these companies this month. That's what I love. July, we're going to hear from all the big hyperscalers and how they're spending and where they're spending and who's benefiting. This one actually reports July 21, so we're like 3 weeks away here from the action, which I like earnings. I'm an old fuddy-duddy. I like a little earnings with my charts and my leading stocks. Fuel cell, they got a $50 million cash infusion. Actually, this started last week. Is it undercut to 21 and rallied Friday, 22%. That was your clue. Comes in Monday, has news up 24% today, 20%. So fuel cell, I think it's up about 50% this week, exactly 50%. That one I had on my spec list, one of my better performing spec list stock, and I don't want to go through those right now or anytime soon. We'll wait on that. I am auditing myself because it's the end of the month, excuse me, the end of the quarter. So in the morning, I'll have some data on how I did. I think I ended up, nobody cares, right? I ended up the first quarter up about 15%, and I think I'm up about 50 or 55%. So I had a good quarter because the market did well. Anyway, I'm going to move on. What else we have? Oh, what's that guy's name? Gosh, Leopold, something Aschenbrenner or something like that. So he's definitely a catalyst for this stock. I'm not a fan of following guys like any of those Tudor Jones or Druckenmiller because or David Tepper because when they released their 13Fs that they could have sold those are 3 months old. So you never know when he bought, he could have sold it already and you won't know for another 3 months. Anyway, this one undercut the 21 and rallied. Enough of that nonsense. All right. Did I get the other one? FLNC, another energy name. Oh boy, this one took a hit down to the 200. All right. I'm out of here. I'm out of that group because I want to take a look at TTMI. Very interesting move here. End of the quarter, we saw some selling. Of course, this kind of mechanical stuff. Pullback near its 50. Tried to rally today, but got rejected here at the or found resistance at the 21. It could easily trade through there. I expect it to trade up to at least 200. Even if it gets rejected there, 268, I expect it to trade up to that level from 187. That's a decent move. Sanmina trades a lot like AMD, the big pullback to the 50, ground support and balance. It's having a nice week. The electrical contracting manufacturing group is a top group. Flex went into the S&P 500 last week, and you can see it's just consolidating in a base, which is fine. We like bases. We like tight trading. And you're not going to find that in the semiconductor names. All right, I got to go to the boomer. I'm calling these the boomer stocks. The airplane. I don't know. Boomers are flying all over the world, living their best life. They have the money. They're hoarding. A fellow who says, "Yeah, my parents have like over 10 million. They're not giving me any money to buy a house. They're hoarding it all and flying all over the world." And this guy's like 35. It's hard to buy a house right now without, why don't the parents kick down a couple hundred grand so the guy can get a nice fat mortgage and get in some heavy debt so he can live with his family. Anyway, that's the American dream. American Airlines doing fantastic. I'm calling this, I think these are boomer trades. Breakout here on United from the 119 level. Closed today at 136, not bad. This one company can't get out of its own way. Since Uncle Herb, retired here, I don't think they've had a really good CEO, but this is a nice chart here. The cup, now what they handle the 3 days of selling back to the moving average. It would be nice if it had just a washout sale down to the maybe the 21. Anyway, Southwest, not my favorite. And of course, the ultimate boomer stock, Viking. The boomers are out traveling, and my friend, where'd he go to Amsterdam? I think he took off from Budapest, and he's going through the river cruise out there. I forget what he told me. He's out there living his best life, spending his money. One of the guys with millions, not going to help his kids. The problem is, if you have 3 or 4 kids, you help one, you got to help the next one and the next one. So you set that precedent, you better have some backup. All right, I'm out of here with this group. I did want to, oh, somebody asked about the space group, is why was it up so much? Yesterday, Rocket Lab bought Iridium, and there was pin action throughout the entire group. SpaceX was up 7% yesterday and 4% today. Rocket Lab, usually the acquiring company, takes a little bit of a hit. Not so much with Rocket Lab. Of course, this is sold off with SpaceX IPO just sucking the life out of all these other stocks. We were in on this one when it was forming this cup with handle pattern. It made a beautiful breakout. Fantastic move. If you look at the lows here from 74 up to 150, that's a two-bagger in a very short period of time. And now it's forming another base. Nothing wrong with that. So definitely watch Rocket Lab. It's got the 10% 21-day ATR, so it's going to give you some action. And then ASTS, this one doing the same thing, just kind of forming a base. I mean, if you look at this one, maybe I'll take a look at the weekly. Yeah, God, this is really a choppy stock. I mean, if you would bear with me, I would say this is kind of a double bottom. base, but then it made a new high and then come back. I don't know, it's forming a new base this last 5 weeks, but it's up 24% this week, which is not too shabby. That's what I call pin action from Rocket Lab. And this is intuitive. Yeah, pull back to the 21 after a massive rally, breaking out of the base. See, this is where you want to, buy, hold, maybe add, buy, and then when it gets up here, a little too hotty, yeah, trim it, get rid of it, dump it. It's like a hand grenade. If you don't throw it, it's going to blow up in your hand. This one goes from what, 46.75 down to 17 bucks. Yeah. I don't want to make that trip with anyone or with any stock. So anyway, I think I'm out of here with this group. Oh, Planet Labs also had like I say, these growth stocks, man, they're gonna blow up. You want to ride them while they're trending, but when the trend bends, man, whoo, get rid of it. I think that was an earnings, yeah, this day here, June 5th, 26%. That was an earnings, not going to call it a miss, but they had a secondary and it just, with, a lot of profit taking, not well received. All right, I'm going to go to another group that I don't cover enough. I think they're kind of expensive, but got to acknowledge the strength here in Tenable Holdings, TENB, up 10% today. You can see here, this has been a long downtrend. This is what you call a stage 4 decline. Has this stage 1 base, and now in a stage 2 ascending pattern here. So, yeah, I think this one's going higher, up 22% this week. And yeah, I mean, do I buy it here? No. But $31 wants to pull back to the five, somewhere around there. Maybe you can get it. CrowdStrike, another one that was, I think it was downgraded yesterday and it was still up a lot. Yeah, that tells you something. Fortinet too is downgraded. And then yeah, these are expensive stocks, no doubt about it. This tells you the risk for appetite, though. If these things are making new highs, the market doesn't care about their valuation, or they think that, there was not going to be a rate hike and it's just going to be status quo. I mentioned Fortinet downgraded this morning. I'd say it handled the downgrade pretty well. Just pulled back to the five. I'm going to put this one on the red list here at 150.07. That's a decent base. 4 weeks, usually like five or more, but in this market, money is moving so damn fast. Yeah, you got to throw the traditional stuff away. Hate to say it. This is Lumentum. This one is bothering me. This whole group is bothering me. I don't know. It's ready to start a stage 4 decline. It kind of looks like it to me. This was a number 1 and number 2 group, now already down to 23. Lumentum, had this big run, right? From what, 147 to 1,085. So if it forms a base, fine. If it wants to go to stage 4 decline, it's adios muchachos. But definitely watching these ones. AAOI, I thought this one was going to actually crumble on Monday as it pulled back to 130. Rallied up today, though, not good action here. These are acting like they could be stage 4 declines. CIEN. Yeah, trying to form a base here now. Trying to rally back above the 50 is what it needs to do. But yeah, definitely weak sauce right here. In VIAV, not till $60. Will I look at this? I don't care if it rallies back through the 50. I want to see some strength here. But you can see this is consolidating in a base. This is what I would call the best house in a bad neighborhood right now. So watching that one. So that's that group. And then what else do I have? Oh, yeah, the other photonics group. Corning is definitely the leader in this group. Yeah, it pulled back today during the rally, big deal. Yesterday it was up, yeah, 16%. So yeah, it can give back 26 cents. That's okay. Coherent. The NVIDIA partner is just teeter-totter here at 400 and forming a base. And this is fine. What is this, since May 13th? So you're looking at 6 weeks of just sideways action, which is healthy. What has it got, a 4 weeks tighten here? 3 weeks height? This one I might put on my ready list here pretty soon. It's gonna pop over 400 and say goodbye to 440, I bet. Um, yeah, especially with the earnings coming up here. What else do I have in this group? Vichy Swa, they did a secondary, yeah, down 4%. Yeah, you don't want to see that. If you're holding a stock, the secondary is like the killer. And then BELFA, I was gonna put one of these on the ready list. Yeah, look at this cup with handle. I didn't do it. I was looking at this over the weekend and yeah, I didn't do it anyway. You snooze, you lose. How many of these stocks I said, hey, I was looking at this, I was ready to buy and I missed it. That's the way it goes. But I'm going to address that in a minute. You can see there's a clean breakout on the weekly for Bell Fuse. And then what else will we have? Another leading stock in this group, Knowles. Knowles Group, you can see on the weekly up 3.5%. A little extended from this base once again, right? They've been running. All right, and I guess I got to close with Micron, which I don't think is going to do anything. People think this thing's going to rip and roar and run. I kind of doubt it. I think it's going to form a 3 weeks type pattern right there around the what's the last 1,132, 1,134, 1,154. So maybe a pullback to like 1,040 the next two sessions. Yeah, I don't think this is going to run away from us. I think it's going to form a 3 weeks tight and give us a chance to add on or buy in, whatever the case may be. You can see the earnings line, and the earnings growth. But these guys reported strong earnings and it hasn't gone anywhere. And it did that the last time they reported earnings. I should have showed you on the weekly chart. There it is. The reported earnings and down, 6, 7, 8 out of 9 days. Here reports earnings, had a nice little rally, and then now it's below the low of the rally day, earnings day. So just consolidating in a base, which is fine, which is what you want. What you don't want is something what WDC, I'm telling you, this thing scares me. Had the down 2% today. Wow. While the market was killing it, had this abnormal week, and that is a red yellow flag for me. And then undercut it, yeah, I just it's toppy looking. It doesn't have, the horsepower that SanDisk and Micron have in terms of the fundamentals. And since I mentioned SanDisk, had a nice day today. I don't like holding this thing overnight anymore. So I'm just day trading this. You wake up and you get whacked like this. It stinks. Down 11%. This thing is very true though. If it opens lower and starts trading lower, 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 it just does that for the day and usually gives you like a $200 range. But you can see these, early morning wake up calls down 13%. No, thank you. I don't want any part of that. So I just day trade it, and then when it pops in the morning here, yes, we'll take that. And then today was upgraded and, an easy trade all day long. If you want to look at a 5-minute chart, you don't have to hold this thing. Oh, it's upgraded. Oh, it's strong in the morning. Bye, 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 bye. And just get rid of it. Don't hold it overnight because you're going to wake up tomorrow down $100 probably. So anyway, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Overall, though, if you want to, look at um, SanDisk, this thing's just consolidating these big moves here. I like it going way higher, but for now, I'm just trading it. So it's got to calm down. A lot of noise around these names, Micron and SanDisk. And anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up, except in honor of the great Steve Jobs. I have one more thing. Aunt B is cooking up some pie in Mayberry. After hours, it was announced that they had a deal. I should have wrote it down. I posted it in the chat. I'll have it in the morning. But anyway, up 9% after hours. And you can see this is just consolidating in a base. And this weekly bar last week was just ridiculous. It lost a quarter of its value for no reason, just because it's exiting the Russell 2000. It's a $78 billion stock, so way too big for the Russell. a total gift. All this selling here down at 247. I put on the ready list. I bought it around 260 something, and I'm holding it. And shoot, I might even add to it because the high here was what 351, last Thursday, then last Friday down to 247. That's an insane move. This is a very volatile name. It's got 11%, 21 average two range. So I'm going to hold it on the upside until it starts, being stubborn and being like a Bronco, a bucking Bronco, and start throwing people off. But the news after hours was great. And I just wanted to point out two other stocks that I bought this week. One was Intel, bought some calls here. They paid well. Thank you very much. And then Form Factor. So those three, two chips. We got an equipment, a manufacturing, semiconductor, and the energy name. Yeah. So I will buy Micron and SanDisk back once they settle down, calm down, form some sort of a base. And then, I think they're both going way higher. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.